Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fence Armor channel. Good to have you here. It's Friday. Well, it's good to be here again. We've had an exciting week. Spring is here. People are looking at their fences, their decks, getting ready for the summer. Today's topic is really about cleaning up a deck. We're cleaning a deck that's got some organic growth over the past 3 years. We want to get it cleaned up so that we can do a recoat of stain. This is pretty easy because 3 years ago we used Expert Stain, and we're going to use Expert Stain again. It's an oil-based stain, so all we have to do is just clean up the area and we're ready to stain. So with Expert, it's great. We just use the Eco Clean. The Eco Clean is mild, as it were, easy on the lawn and on surfaces that are adjacent to the cleaner. It's always best to get things damp. Use it anytime, but when you have rainy days, obviously you'd like to take advantage of them. Since you're going to wet the deck anyway or the fence before you apply product, whether that's the Eco Clean, the wood cleaner, or the stripper, everything's going to get wet. Take 8 ounces per gallon. That's the ratio of all of the Expert products. So 8 ounces of Eco Clean or 8 ounces of wood cleaner or 8 ounces of the stripper to a gallon of water. And you can vary that saturation point to where you want it to be based on what your reality is. And with your experience, you'll start to see that. Now, when you're using a pump-up sprayer, ideally you empty it and get rid of it before the next use, because it can be set up in the hoses and so forth and start to clog things up, and we don't want that to happen. So this pump-up sprayer you're going to see is a little lethargic. We're getting a new sprayer, I promise. It'll have way more power. Wear your PPE as you so desire. As you can see, I've got safety glasses and a mask. Those are my invisible units with my not-so-invisible pump-up sprayer. It's certainly not a toxic product by that standard, but safety glasses are always recommended. Spray it on your wet deck or fence. Let it sit there for about 20 minutes or so. And you're going to notice it really foams up. It's really interesting to see that. And customers love seeing that too, that reaction. Kind of like a hydrogen peroxide on a wound shows that it's doing something. And you can see how slippery and slidey this deck was with all of the organic growth on it. So Eco Clean is sodium percarbonate, which is effectively kind of like OxyClean. So it's really gentle on things. So if you've got aluminum balusters that are powder coated, you've got surfaces of the same kind of situation, steel or aluminum, if they're coated with a powder coat, you're going to be fine. Key is obviously dilution, and obviously you're diluting this quite a bit. If you've got 8 ounces of product into a gallon of water, you've got a good dilution there, and you've got everything wet already. Really, it's highly unlikely you're going to see damage, so you really don't have to worry too much about it. It's an oxygenated product, plenty of coverage to be able to handle the average size deck for sure, with just an 8 ounce use, which will cover a gallon, which will cover about 150 to 200 square feet. You can watch it working as it starts to eradicate the fungi, and you see all the white bubbles on the surface, so you know it's working. Once that 20 minutes is up, take a low pressure wash and do your oddly satisfying cleanup and watch all this sludge get ripped off of your fence and deck. I've got a consumer grade pressure washer. It does a pretty good job, and what's nice about it is you can't over pressurize. Maximum is probably 100 to 300 psi, so you're not going to start fibers from your wood. You're not going to get that fuzz. If you're a commercial guy, obviously you may have different settings, but the idea is a soft wash to get rid of the organic growth and not get rid of the wood and not get rid of the stain from the previous year. You're going to lose some of that, of course. If there's some areas which need a little extra attention, you can certainly use a sander. I wouldn't go any higher than 60. You want it to be fibrous so the stain will get down deep into it. The smoother the wood, the harder it is for the stain to get through the pores. The whole idea is we're restaining. We'll let this dry a few days until it's less than 12%. We'll get a moisture meter, we'll measure it, and make sure that the surface is ready to receive the Expert Stain. We'll be using the Fence Armor brush, of course, and we're going to come back and stain it. Well, stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 will be staining. We'll probably do that next week when it's nice and dry, we hope. The team has suggested pecan. So thank you for joining us this week on how to clean 3 years of accumulated dirt.